In the last 10 years, several national missions have been launched in the emerging priority areas of electronics, electric mobility, and solar energy. The Council of Scientific and Industrial Research has leveraged open source innovation for discovery of drugs and found a lead for tuberculosis. CSIR has also ventured into the new world of data-intensive discovery and large data systems. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sixth Pay Commission has improved substantially the conditions of our academic and scientific personnel. International surveys have shown that India now scores well in terms of salary structures for scientific personnel. Our gross expenditure per full-time R&D personnel is increasingly comparable in purchasing power parity terms to some of the most developed R&D systems of the world. We have also devised several ways of supporting young scientists as well as senior scientists in the last 10 years. The J.C. Bose and Ramanujan fellowships and other similar initiatives are intended to ensure that science is attractive as a profession and capable individuals get adequate support for their research work. A new initiative is the institution of 25 Jawaharlal Nehru Fellowships, under which eminent scientists anywhere abroad are invited to work in India for 12 months over a 3-year period. The government has already selected the first 5 fellows. They are Professor M. Vidyasagar, a distinguished computational biologist at the University of Texas, Professor Srinivas Kulkarni, a distinguished astronomer at Caltech, Professor Trevor Charles Plate, a distinguished geoscientist at the Bedford Institute of Oceanography, Canada, Professor Srinivas Vardhan, a distinguished mathematical scientist at New York University, and Professor Azim Surani, a distinguished life scientist at the University of Cambridge. All of them are fellows of the Royal Society, and one is an able medalist. Ladies and gentlemen, I recognize, and we all recognize, that the government must also focus more on creating new opportunities for our bright and socially conscious scientists. To ensure food security and to improve land and water productivity, we have to launch a national drive for an ever-green revolution. This will test the ingenuity of our agricultural scientists. Climate-resilient agriculture and modern biotechnological tools hold great promise. Use of biotechnology has great potentials to improve yields. While safety must be ensured, we should not succumb to unscientific prejudices against Bt crops. Our government remains committed to promoting the use of these new technologies for agricultural development. I urge our scientific community to increase communication and engagement with society at large in explaining socially productive applications of technology alternatives and for improving the productivity of small and medium enterprises. I also expect our quest for affordable health care to be bolstered by indigenous research on biomedical engineering and other medical devices. Ladies and gentlemen, our government has invested in many areas to ensure that India remains at the cutting edge of science. I am happy to announce another national mission on high-performance computing with an outlay of rupees 4,500 crores. We are also considering the establishment of a national geographical information system with an outlay of about rupees 3,000 to enhance the esteem of our teachers is also being launched. I am also happy to announce that India will partner the international scientific community in the establishment of some of the world's major R&D projects. In the gravitational wave experiment, India intends to host the third detector. A neutrino-based observatory is proposed to be established in Tamil Nadu at a cost of about rupees 1,450 crores. India is also joining the famous CERN Institute as an associate member. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, India needs to leverage the ability of modern science to deliver value to society. We must also seek global leadership in at least some research and development areas. Affordable innovations for human health care, sustainable agriculture, clean energy, and total solutions for water-related challenges are some areas where Indian science can seek global leadership. Indian scientists have to learn from the past. They have to connect with the present, and they have to focus on the future. Our basic research must be directed to make new discoveries with innovative efforts to develop affordable solutions suited to Indian conditions. Above all, our science should be a driving force propelling India as a resurgent civilization which holds out both hope and opportunity for our young citizens. Before I conclude, I would like to stress on something that has troubled me for some time. I worry sometimes that science has not yet got its proper due in our value system. I would like science to be high in our value system so that our entire society provides both moral and material support for its development. This is not only necessary because our future depends on it, but also because instilling a scientific attitude and temper in our population is essential for developing a progressive, rational, a humane society. I do hope that our scientists and educators will ponder seriously on how we can achieve this transformation in the mindset of our society. This year, ladies and gentlemen, our government selected Professor C.N.R. Rao for the highest civilian award of Bharat Ratna. I was saying this year our government selected Professor C.N.R. Rao for the highest civilian award of Bharat Ratna. Let this be only the first step in creating an environment that gives birth to many more Bharat Ratnas in the field of Indian science. That is my wish, that is my prayer. Thank you. Jai Hind.